Welcome to Groundbreak 2021. If you're here with us today, you're looking to get the most value out of your technology investment at your company. And in this session, we'll touch on how Procore partners with you to increase adoption at your company with training management. Before we get started, I'd like to take a moment to remind you that throughout Groundbreak, we'll be sharing some really cool new features not yet generally available. Please make sure you're making your purchasing decisions based on what's available today, and you can read the full text of this slide on our website. And I'm your host today. My name is Alyssa Heisler, and I'm a product marketer here at Procore. Today, we're going to first understand the importance of adoption, how and why it's valuable, and how Procore helps with this. And then we'll hear from an amazing panel of women in construction, the historical problems they've had with technology adoption, and how they've used Procore Training Management to fix this. So let's dive in. Technology has successfully infiltrated the construction industry and changed the way we work for the better. As technology grows and invests in this industry, most are finding it difficult to stay up to date on all the new innovations. Innovative technology will always face the challenge of adoption. Adoption is crucial to maximizing any technology investment you make because, let's face it, if teams don't use technology consistently and accurately, it is extremely difficult to maximize the benefits it has to offer. The 2020 JB Knowledge Construction Technology Report says 63% of respondents use between 3 to 6 or more apps per day just to do their job. As specialized technology continues to evolve, so will your company's workflows, requiring updates to documentation and trainings. Let's take a step back and do some quick math. Say your company on average uses 4 apps per day, and each app has 100 updates per year per app. That is 400 updates total per year, rounding out to be more than 1 update per day. That's a lot of change to keep track of. You want your project teams to be focused on managing the changes on your projects, not the changes to your technology. Today, this change is managed with things like Dropbox or Word docs and Excel, solutions that can easily become out of date, difficult to access, and require lots of time investment to manage. Without easy access to up-to-date information, creating consistency, adoption, and standardization at your company can truly be an uphill battle. Needless to say, dedication to adoption can be time-consuming. So if the technology your teams are using is, changing every day, how can you mitigate the changes these innovations bring? How do you increase technology adoptions without increasing the time investment already in place? At Procore, we aim to provide our customers with a world-class construction management solution, but we also want to partner with you to ensure your success. Our goal is to ultimately come alongside the industry and connect everyone in construction on a global platform. So what does that tangibly look like? How does Procore help with this, forever challenge of adoption? Well, I'm so glad you asked. Procore Training Management was built to help companies manage this change. It makes it easy to onboard, educate, and roll out Procore. This helps increase product adoption and standardizes process company-wide. Unlike Word documents or other manual solutions, our product provides that integrated training and documentation, connecting the entire team to a centralized information hub right inside Procore. Training management builds the foundation you need to get everyone on the same page and increase adoption. But don't take my word for it. Today, we'll hear from some amazing women in construction who, before training management, struggled with things like standardization and onboarding, which ultimately affected adoption. So let's meet our panel.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Jessica Harrison, pre-construction manager for DCO Commercial Floors. We are a specialty subcontractor that provides full service floor covering, wall cladding, and window treatments. So this means that we support our customers by assisting with estimating, procurement, logistics, and then also on the operations side, project management, installation, and site supervision. My role mainly focuses on pipeline management and pre-construction processes.
Hi, my name is Kayla McClyman, and I'm an operational technology manager at TWG. TWG is a multifamily real estate development company specializing in market rate, mixed use, affordable, and senior housing developments across the U.S. A few of my responsibilities include training, implementation, and operation management of software programs.
Hi everyone, I'm Kylie Gibson, trainer support for project management at Pomerleau. We are one of Canada's leading construction companies specializing in the building, infrastructure, civil engineering, renewable energy, and virtual design and construction sectors. My position at Pomerleau is to prepare, plan, and conduct training and ensure transfer of learning for both onboarding and continuous learning, as well as support project teams and users through coaching to provide knowledge and support at every step of the construction process.
Well, awesome. Thank you all so much. It is really an honor to have you all here. Before we dive into training management and how it's helped increase adoption at your companies, let's take a moment and reflect back to the challenges you faced that inspired you to choose training management. What was life like before training management? What are some examples of struggles you've all faced in the past around adoption and training?
Well, I don't mind starting off. So for us at Pomerleau, our goal with our training team is to equip our employees with the training material needed to consistently be successful during their time at Pomerleau. And ultimately, this really does start with onboarding. So before training management, one of the biggest struggles my team and I were facing was that we were restricted to mainly live or in-person training sessions. And as you can imagine, this was difficult for many reasons. Here at Pomerleau, we are coast to coast. So we're always working with accommodating multiple time zones, obviously working around schedule conflicts. And on top of that, we are a bilingual company. We also actually had to make sure too that when we organized our training sessions, we did it in a way that we would follow a 2-week onboarding schedule. And within that, some of the courses were actually required as a prerequisite course. So depending on a person's start date, this could actually mean they missed out on a prerequisite training course, and they would have to wait another 2 weeks for that training cycle to begin in order to take that particular course again. In addition to, because of the live trainings, another struggle we were facing was that it was very difficult for us to really customize our training experience for each of our employees, as it was really dependent on that participant attendance to each of those sessions. So ultimately, it was very difficult to scale. This could mean we had 2 different people inside the company that do completely different roles, and they would receive the exact same training because one of them in the session needed to have that full training for their role, whereas the other could have benefited more from a scaled version to fit their needs. So ultimately, this was leading to some feedback from participants that, your training material is great. It's super informative, but it was providing more information than needed for some in the room. So as you can imagine, this was making our training sessions very overwhelming to some of our new employees. So it was really a huge challenge for us as trainers before training management.
Yeah, so to go off what Kylie said, we also aim to equip our teams with all the information and resources that they need, from onboarding to daily usage. Before training management, our procedures and policies were scattered and difficult to find. It was kind of a free-for-all. We didn't have a single location for our employees to access up-to-date information. By not having a single location, it caused major confusion for our employees and really wouldn't allow us to set the standard of how we use Procore TWG. Pre-training management, onboarding consisted of a lengthy Excel sheet and static documentation. It required new employees to meet with multiple stakeholders and manage their own onboarding. Independent onboarding is only successful when you have the right tools in place. We did not. So new employees felt lost and overwhelmed. Another hurdle we faced was creating access to current documentation and resources. An example of this, as we continue to grow, so do our processes and documentation. Before training management, it was difficult to access the most updated resources. Oftentimes, employees would have old versions of documents downloaded on their devices, not knowing there was a more current version available and required. This caused a great deal of rework and misunderstandings. As a developer, owner, and general contractor, standardization is key to our success. Ensuring the same documentation and processes are followed not only by TWG employees, but also by TWG collaborators is critical. TWG didn't have a way to create standardization. This ultimately led to low adoption, inconsistent usage, and stress amongst our staff. We needed a solution that not only helped us create standardization, but also centralize all of our resources we have to offer our users.
Yeah, so very similar to the others, prior to having the training center, we were really fighting that uphill battle. DCO, along with the entire construction industry, is full of these amazing, highly organized individuals. However, without a centralized location for them to find the up-to-date resources and SOPs, we just found that things were becoming inconsistent and would fall through the cracks. Our company is made up of resourceful individuals, and one of our goals is to be sure that our teams are empowered to take ownership of each task. We all know that this industry moves so quickly, and not having a centralized, updated, and accessible training made our process change and adoption difficult and also slow. So because our templates and our resources were not easily accessible, it actually slowed our employees down and created internal blocks to growth and success. Another huge hurdle we faced, similar to you both, was onboarding new employees. So without the training center, we had to rely on face-to-face and on-the-job training, which has great value, but obviously poses many challenges for us since we have teams, spread out across the nation. Our detailed processes weren't documented in one consistent place, so small details like how you enter a daily log were getting lost, and those details really matter. Without any consistency, people just started doing processes differently, and it led to a lot of confusion and caused a lot of inefficiency. Our real focus at DCO is on the customer, right? We want to be the partner of choice. So every time our customer receives something from us, like an RFI or a transmittal, we want to make it easy for them to process. It should look and feel exactly the same for them. I love saying that clarity equals quality. Without clear and easily accessible resources for our teams, it was difficult for them to deliver up to our standard. So ensuring those teams utilize all Procore has to offer and delivers a consistent experience to our customer was a huge reason why we made the jump to the training center.
As I mentioned at the beginning, at Procore, our goal is to not only offer a world-class construction management solution, but also to come alongside the industry and connect everyone in construction on a global platform. And training management is a big piece of that. Giving your team a centralized information hub with all the resources they may need empowers them to do their best work consistently. This all ties together to create efficient adoption. Internal and external teams alike, everyone is on the same page, looking at the same information and working towards the same goal. I want to take a few minutes to show you how this tangibly works. Creating and maintaining your company SOPs and training materials is a hassle. Why recreate the wheel when you can leverage and reuse existing Procore documentation and certification courses? That's where Procore Training Management comes in, a solution that makes it easy to onboard, educate, and roll out Procore to increase product adoption and standardize process company-wide. Our training management products, Certification Center and Training Center, help ensure your teams are equipped with company-specific procedures and best practices when they step onto the job site. The Certification Center is a construction-specific learning management system focused on onboarding new users. Customize and create your own versions of our Procore certification courses and host them in your own private section on our learning portal. Leverage existing Procore training videos and lessons, then remove information that isn't applicable to your team, or create custom courses using your own content. The Training Center is a training documentation solution that integrates our Procore user manual with your company's specific SOPs. Document all your company procedures and information, Procore specific or not, in one location that can be easily updated and accessed within the Procore application when your team members need help. Leverage existing support content and automatically inherit updates as new product features are released. Both tools create a centralized information hub, keeping documentation up to date and standardizing how your teams use Procore and how new users are onboarded. What users learn when going through your certification center can easily be referenced later on through your training center. Maintain full control of your content and who can access it. You can make content private and only visible to users who have access to your Procore account, or make certain links public to share with external collaborators. Nobody has time to create an entire custom Procore user manual from scratch and then deal with the management headaches of trying to keep it up to date. But in order to ensure the successful adoption and use of Procore within your organization, it's still necessary to document and train each user on how to perform certain tasks according to your company's guidelines and best practices. You wouldn't send someone to the job site without proper training, right? So don't add them to your Procore account without first giving them the tools and training they need to be successful. Increase adoption and standardization across your company with Procore Training Management. Training management gives your team the foundation they need to succeed as soon as they get to the job site. And these ladies here know that well. So let's talk about it. What are the main benefits you all have seen that have helped increase adoption since implementing training management? Jessica, why don't we start with you?
Yeah, great. I love that you asked this question. So as I mentioned before, it's crucial to our success at DCO that we maintain a level of high consistency and adoption inside of Procore. And ultimately, we needed a singular location with all of our resources easily accessible to empower our teams. And the Training Center helped us do that. Here inside the Training Center, you can see that we've organized our homepage by department. Inside each department are materials designed specifically for those roles. This level of customization ensures that all those small details that were getting lost in the shuffle now have a dedicated spot inside of our training documentation. As you click into each specific role, the content is designed and curated specifically for that type of individual at DCO. For example, when we hire an estimator, the estimating learning path is the 101 of how to be a DCO estimator. It has all the information on how to use Procore and also our other systems. So everything from understanding our company workflow to how to best utilize Procore Drive is included in one place. Now our team of highly organized and motivated individuals have the support that they need to be the best partner to our customers by providing that level of consistency that's key for us. All the information is just a click away right inside of Procore, so there's no more searching for information or inconsistent outcomes. The Training Center helps us provide that level of excellence to our GCs.
Yeah, so for us at TWG, as I mentioned before, our biggest challenge and goal is standardization, and we were able to achieve that with training management. This helped us centralize current resources and standardize Procore usage, both internally and externally. Our internal and external collaborators are able to access procedures and policies that are specific to their role. Information is now easily accessible no matter where they are, field or office, or what time zone they might be in. Similar to Jessica, we've created role-based training that allows us to break out content by position and by collaborator. So even our external collaborators have access to documentation and training on how they need to use Procore the TWG way. In this screenshot here, you can see our employees can find answers to any of their questions around submittals, including best practices and how-tos. These articles are TWG best practices and Procore documentation combined. This is a huge win for TWG. Procore is always coming out with cool and exciting changes, and now we no longer have to update our documentation every time Procore has an update. When Procore's documentation is updated, ours is as well. This means our content isn't static and updates and changes with Procore. And to take it a step further, the information is easily accessible to all internal and external parties. It's available right inside Procore, located in the contextual help button. So support and documentation is literally one click away. Because we have one location for our employees to access current documentation, standardization is pretty straightforward. Everyone is looking at the same information without a static 3-ring binder, no matter who they are at TWG.
Well, just like Jessica and Kaylee, a massive accomplishment we've been able to achieve with the training management, specifically the certification center, is that on-demand role-based training now. So this is a huge upgrade. Now our users can be trained regardless of their location or their schedule, and the content is designed exactly for what they're doing in their role at Pomerleau. So ultimately, this is really helping us to personalize those trainings and ensure that that content is applicable to their day-to-day project needs. If we actually take a look at our certification center, you can see we have really honed in, like I mentioned, on that role-based training. So we were able to take that pre-existing training that's available in Procore and tweak it to fit specific role needs, as well as be able to add our own material to the training, which was such a great advantage. So we were really able to train that Pomerleau way for certain tool usage. Even just to show you a quick example, if we look at our quality management training, we were actually able to adapt core tools to fit what this department would use and combine and adapt the project management and quality safety tools with everything you would need as a quality coordinator or manager within the actual project management training. So now instead of a new hire going through possibly 3 separate trainings, core tools, project management, quality and safety, and perhaps only needing some of those tools from each of those trainings, they're actually now able to tune in on demand with specific tool training for their role, which is saving so much time, and it's really ensuring that that knowledge gained is applicable to their role for their project. Ultimately, by being able to streamline these on-demand trainings, it's also freed up time for us, the trainers. We're actually able now to provide more deeper, specific trainings based on project needs, and overall really being able to help support project teams every step of the way throughout their project. So we really truly can utilize all that functionality Procore has to offer. Honestly, with training management, the solution has helped us not only to reach users faster and onboard quicker, but ultimately getting our users to leverage Procore as soon as possible. And now too, because we have this foundation in place, we can scale our training program as we continue to grow without compromising the quality of training an individual would ultimately receive, which is an absolute huge win for us here at Pomerleau.
These success stories are truly inspiring. The Training Management Foundation allowed these companies to onboard quicker, create standardization and consistency, and overall empower their teams with the tools and resources needed to maximize technology. And these are just some of the many benefits mentioned today and what training management can do for you and your team. All of these work together to create technology adoption among your users. Training management lays the groundwork and allows you to focus on what you do best, build. This sounded like something you're interested in. Be sure to reach out to your CSM or sales rep or scan the QR code and check out training management on Procore.com. Kylie, Jessica, and Kaylee, thank you so much for sharing your words of wisdom with us today. And thank you for joining us. We hope you got a glimpse into the success training management can bring your team.